Good morning, all you beautiful, wonderful homesteader, off-gridder, prepper people. I wanted to have a discussion about the reality of a flush toilet. It is quite the luxury, and it is quite the difficult thing to provide. And a lot of people definitely take it for granted, especially if you're on a municipal water supply. The fact is that it takes a lot to make that work. If you're going to do it off-grid, it's a lot of work. There's a lot of expense. And I know there's composting toilets and outhouses, and those things have their place, but they're not exactly the most convenient, the most luxurious. There is work, and I question the sustainability, because I've had people come and go out here that were doing that type of thing, and they always leave a mess. It's a nasty mess. The flies and stink, and it's not so sanitary. It's disease waiting to happen. Now, I'm not saying everybody's like that, but I'm saying you have to be responsible if you're going to do composting toilets. And you have to handle your stuff. And I think a flush toilet is like much better. And to do a flush toilet on a scale of just one family, that's one thing. But if you're going to come together as a community in close proximity, like we really need, we need to be a small tribe of people working together if we're really going to be off-grid and sustainable, self-reliant. It's more than just one family. So you're going to need adequate bathroom facilities. And I'm not sure composting toilets are going to get it done. Don't give me a lot of hate here. I think that a flush toilet is more sustainable, less likely to have disease issues and so forth, because you're burying your stuff deep. And you're handling all the water. And if you do it right, I think that you can have a septic system that can service a lot of people for a lot of years. Now, the way I do it, the way I've chose to do it, is I'm going to break the Greywater out. So only thing going into the septic is toilet flushes. That's it. So now you can have a lot more flushes for one regular tank. But you have to go through all the work of separating out the gray, which is what I've done. So I'm going to show you. Now, I have a previous video on my off-grid bathroom that I'm doing, and I have to get over that way next to that little trailer to tie into my line. So we got a tunnel under this fence. But I want to show you some of the work that we've had to do to get just a simple flush toilet going. And I'm also going to have a Greywater for a shower. And again, I think Greywater is more sustainable, and it's a lot safer if you can get it in a place where it's not going to cause runoff, and you're going to have detergent and all that, phosphates and nasty stuff running off down into your creek. My pond is for food fish. I don't want chemicals in it. So we got to really handle our Greywater here. You got to be careful what you put down the drain, which is another story. But I'm going to show you what I got going here. This poor thing, I've worked it to death. You can just look at the pins on it and the bushings. It's just barely held together. The poor thing. It's done its job, though, for whatever I paid for it, $2,500 or whatever. If you're going to do your own septic, I suggest getting one of these from Harbor Freight. I mean, for the money, just run it at half speed, keep everything greased. Don't run it at full speed. Take your time with it, because it'll pull itself apart. It wears out its pins, it wears out the cylinders. Just run it at half speed and take your time, and you'll get a lot more life out of it. Be careful with stressing it. The metal's not that tough. You don't want to stress it too much. You want to just kind of take it easy. I use this one too hard. So I would probably have it for a couple more years if I would have taken it easy. Anyway, 300 and something feet of line. Now back here, I've already had the expense of a commercial grade septic. Huge tank, whatever it is, 3,000 or 4,000 gallons, I forget. It's bigger than normal for sure. But then I got the soil infiltrator, 60 feet of that, and it's like half barrels basically, facing downward. And it handles a lot of water, a lot of waste, a lot of sewage. So that's my attempt to get from all the way up there all the way back to that septic. Now, I will say that I have a good downhill run. Nothing is level or below the reverse level. It's all flowing in the right direction. I didn't have to get real deep to get it done. It was a pretty nice lay of land, so that was nice. So what you're seeing is just my sewer pipe and my Greywater pipe, and we're walking downhill as we go. So, you know, you out here have these ditches open, it rains, it gets muddy. It's terrible for the guys doing the work. In this muddy ditch, fighting to keep your pipes clean and glue them and all that. You break water lines, you break electric lines. It is a lot of work just to go to the bathroom. There's a line I broke. So here is the interesting point. The Greywater from up there is going to break off, go down that way to that depression way down there, and go under that fence. So this is all going to be Greywater. Now I have two Greywaters. I have Greywater coming off another building, just basically a bathroom, so it has a sink. It has a laundry hookup, it's not being used, and a shower. All that's Greywater broken out. That's the pipe on the left, and to the right is my off-grid bathroom. I'm going to put a Y together and then shoot them on down all the way. Got more digging to do, that's for sure. Now this pipe coming up, that's 2-inch black pipe. Got the pond down there, if you can see. I used to use a gas-powered pump to pump water up into my garden years ago, and I had all this pipe to do the job, and now I'm burying it. So it's basically going to be a high volume water system to flood my food forest if I need to, or other gardens, also for fire protection. I'm going to have, it changes over to 1.5 inches, somewhere around here, 2 to 1. Or actually, I don't know where. Oh, on the other side of the fence. This is 1.5 inches, that's 2 inches on the other side. So anyway, I'll be able to pump massive volume of water up, and I'm going to have a fire hose if I ever need to fight a fire. Right now, you see that black pipe sticking up on the other side of my little digger. There's that pipe. I'll work with it there and then take it over the hill towards my other garden and all that. Where most of my gardening is on my southern exposure. I got to get the line over there, but for now I have the ditch open, so I'm just taking advantage of that and putting in that water supply line. Just while it's open, taking care of it. This is just to tie in later if I need to. Basically, I'm going to cut off, cap it, and bury it. But I'm going to have it there if I need it, because it's so much work to put a T in later. I just put in the T. So this is the continuation of my, I'm going to have to work on that level there. See how it's too high and too low. Got to level out that black pipe. It's kind of not so good right there. And I've already taken care of, that's where I tied into my tank over there. So, just kind of sharing this welt while it's open. And what it looks like. So I'm going to be pushing the dirt in, covering this thing up because it's ready. At least everything that way. I'm going to leave this open for now. Then I got to take my machine around the other side and finish digging and get it all tied in, but then I'll have a flush toilet. The point is it costs tens, 20s of thousands of dollars, depending, to get a septic tank in and get your drain field and your distribution box and all of your lines. All of that, it just costs a lot of money. So when you go to flush a toilet somewhere that's off-grid, be thankful for the people that are providing that. It's a huge expense. And they're likely not getting near enough credit because it's so easy to take for granted. So give them a little love, give them a little appreciation, and keep in mind that it's not a simple thing. You either got to write a check or you got to do a lot of work. Maybe a mixture of both. But it's thousands of dollars to do it yourself. So keep that in mind, please. I'm not trying to preach at you. I'm just trying to give you a perspective of, you show up somewhere with a flush toilet, those people have done you a huge favor, huge service. It's for a better health. It's just convenient. It's just sanitary. And I think everybody should have flush toilets because you wash your hands right there in the bathroom, and I mean that's what really brought good health to this country. It's the flush toilet. It's not all the other things they say. It's sanitation. And I will briefly say that the Old Testament talks about that, burying your waste and so forth. And there's a lot of wisdom in that. Whether or not you like the Bible or not, or Scripture or not, there is a good health and a blessing in burying your waste. And not burying your waste, putting it in piles of wood chips outside for animals to dig in, and having it run off, and all the other potential problems that people might not think about. If you're going to do composting toilet, make sure you do it right. And don't just let it fly, man, because it's going to create a problem for someone, including you, getting in your own water and all that. You got to do it right if you're going to do it. You do a flush toilet. Anybody that comes, you don't have to explain it. Everybody knows how to do it. And I have the volume where I can have many, many, many flushes, thousands of flushes, and it's not going to fill my tank. The Greywater is a different situation. You don't want that running off either. You don't want that running into your pond where your food fish are. So I'm going to have a containment, a high ring all the way around it where no surface water is going to get in the Greywater field and wash any soap or anything out. It's all going to sit and get digested in a highly bioactive region. I'm going to use sawdust and wood chips and leaves and whatever to fill that ditch down there. I'm going to spill all I'm going to put a network of pipes underneath. The Greywater will soak through the little slits in the pipe, and then it'll get worked on by all that biomatter, which will have shrubs growing in it, like blackberries and pear trees or mulberries, whatever we have. And there's a layer of safety there because you're not doing root crops or leafy greens down there near your mess. You're up picking stuff off the canopy of bushes and trees and vines, and that's safe. And they'll be very happy there because of all that moisture. They'll break down the ammonias and the nitrates, and it'll do all that. It is a realistic, sustainable solution. Got to have enough of a volume because you don't want anything running over. And the bugs in the soil will take care of it, but you have to do it reasonably. And you know, I don't think you should be putting bleach down in a real Greywater field. I'm not going to allow bleach here. That kills life. And you don't want to kill all the good stuff just to have whites. Just buy grays and keep them gray. Forget the whites. Forget the bleach. And the fabric softeners and all the other things, minimize, make your own soap maybe, and just to minimize the ingredients going into your land. Getting off grid with your waste is a serious thing. It's expensive, and it's very needful. So keep it in mind, and thanks for enduring a crappy conversation here. So y'all have a good day.